Look like DiJonai Carrington has definitely found herself into some more drama.
DJ. The most recent Instagram Live from Carrington just. First, it broke the WNBA community. Was the incident involving Caitlin Clark's eye poke? That infuriated fans, and now Carrington's. Shocking allegations regarding her Uber driver have made charges of chaos race, accusations of kidnapping, and irate fans. Wilder demands justice in this story. The minute the reality of this, you will be rendered dumbfounded by a viral moment. What actually took place that evening?
NBA player that needs to stay out of the clear of drama is DiJonai Carrington. She's arguably one of the most hated WNBA players by the...
What began as a typical evening in Connecticut became a social media hub. Carrington's Instagram account, Firestorm. The live session started off like any other informal, unexpected, and seemed benign. Anybody have anticipated how rapidly would get out of hand.
That she is in a relationship with Caitlin Clark teammate Nalissa Smith, which is hence part of the reason why a lot of players want Nalissa Smith going up out of this locker room, because her relationship with DiJonai Carrington is causing major drama.
The video begins with Carrington occupying the. She sounds nervous on the phone in the back of an Uber, camera trembling when she describes what she claims are occurring. You must observe. She states this, establishing the setting for what would eventually be one of the greatest disputes in the NBA in 2024.
What'd he say? What'd he say? Y'all should have broke something in this sir's car. Where is he? You guys, this
First read. When Carrington begins, a flag appears. When she described her driver, she instantly identifies him as white, a fact that fans would subsequently note was entirely. The driver was Arabic, which is false. Misidentification would quickly turn into a main source of disagreement in the unfolding drama.
And I had to really expose him in real time because I don't know, honestly, I don't know why white people think they can get away with trying to just like scare black people by saying, oh, I'm going to call the police.
I'm not sure why white individuals believe they can get away with attempting to frighten black individuals by claiming. Carrington adds, they'll call the police. Her voice rises throughout the video with the statement spreads like wildfire on social media. Involves the sharing and resharing of clips thousands of times in a matter of hours.
With the police, why even bark up that tree? Why even bring race into you having a disgruntled situation with an Uber driver? This is bad for your image.
What actually occurs next? Carrington astounds fans by making the bombshell allegation of abduction attempt. He attempted to abduct us, she said. Her live audience, but her actions, doesn't correspond to the gravity of such an accusation. Rather than contacting the police or looking for quick assistance, she goes on, streaming video of the driver and giving her commentary. Viewers.
Like, okay, and we did nothing wrong, so that's fine. Go ahead and call the police. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Live and in the flesh for you to see. He tried to kidnap us and take us. Look, oh, now he's going to talk to our next Uber driver. Let's see how this...
Social, crisis management, and media specialists. Experts subsequently note this. Disconnect if you are truly afraid of your primary instinct for safety. Going live on Instagram shouldn't be. One well-known sports commentator says, this poses significant issues regarding the validity of these assertions.
Infamous for poking Caitlin Clark in the eye and then basically ignoring the fact that she even did it, talking about she didn't know she poked her in the eye, then she got to saying it wasn't on purpose. But whatever the case may be, ever since that whole situation went down, she has definitely been looking spooky on the internet.
The timing was not possible. The WNBA community was much worse for Carrington. still analyzing her contentious exchange with Caitlin Clark, in which she poked the eye of the rookie sensation during a contentious match that had already placed her under close examination. Fans disagreed on whether it was purposeful or unintentional.
سوي لك مشاكل والله.
Hold on. He just said something in another language to the next driver. What did he say? Dummy, he don't even speak that language. He speaks Spanish. He's a dumbass because our new driver speaks Spanish. This motherfucker was trying to speak Arabic. Arabic and Spanish do not sound the same.
He's trying to leave. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes so the driver can leave.
No, I'm saying this guy's trying to get up.
As the live broadcast goes on, Carrington's actions turn into. She becomes more unpredictable as she records the driver trying to get in touch with, and more Uber driver shows up on the. Now, observe this, she remarks, making fun of his. Try to communicate in Arabic. He's attempting to speak Arabic, but he has no idea the language in which he speaks. Spanish was especially affected at this moment. A nerve-wracking rush of comments from viewers, in real time pointing out the inappropriateness of the jeering, a person's cultural language proficiency. Later, sensitivity specialists provide their opinions, highlighting the ways in which such behavior can reinforce negative stereotypes. The situation swiftly expands beyond civil rights circles in basketball. The story is picked up by organizations, concentrating especially on Carrington's racially offensive remarks that started as a ride-sharing conflict turns into a greater discussion around responsibility, racial awareness, and the influence of WNBA veterans on social media in private. Show worry about the effects on the league's image, which we have diligently strived to create. This anonymous League One player shares instances such as these in particular. They have the potential to reverse years of constructive efforts in community relations. The reaction of Carrington's group, the Sun in Connecticut, is measured. A brief is released by their PR department. Declaration confirming knowledge of the circumstance that promises to investigate the issue in detail. This corporate approach merely encourages further conjecture regarding discussion among fans. In the interim, drivers begin sharing their own social media narratives that establish a simultaneous account of the difficulties they deal with. A lot of express feelings at risk during late-night pickups, handling challenging passengers, and confronting unjust charges. Legal professionals participate in the discussion by outlining the seriousness of fictitious kidnapping accusations that make such claims in public, particularly in the absence of proof, can have severe legal repercussions for one sport. A lawyer clarifies that this isn't only about the history of basketball in Carrington. Of social media usage falls under fresh attention from media outlets and fans. Search through previous blogs for trends of conduct that led to the EY Pook incident with Caitlin Clark receives new recognition with many people now see it in a different light. Lens, the actual live broadcast turns into an analysis of the speed at which social media can make a situation worse in a day. Snippets of the video show up on every replay on a big sports network brings fresh perspectives, fresh insights, and new criticism in waves. What makes this incident that is most noteworthy is the WNBA's current timing, extraordinary expansion primarily due to Caitlin Clark and other celebrities are bringing fresh concern for the league veterans. That disputes such as these could overshadow the encouraging advancements in associations of women's basketball players. Initiate internal conversations around social media training is becoming more and more acknowledgement that players require improved advice for managing public platforms, particularly during confrontational Going live isn't always the best option for. Response turns into a recurring theme in these discussions with the ride-sharing business. Involved carries out its own inquiry, examining GPS information and correspondence logs. Their conclusions run counter to a number of important details from Carrington's story, even while they continue to keep their professional prudence in their remarks made in public as the incident sparks hours that extend into days. More extensive conversations around responsibility. Players in professional sports should suffer repercussions for using social media. Where is the boundary between behavior and both individual and professional expression? Accountability. These inquiries predominate. Fans split into factions on sports talk shows. Some people support Carrington's sharing rights, her experience, but others insist responsibility for what they perceive as. There is a heated debate about reckless behavior, using hashtags in social media, both endorsing and condemning her behavior, nationwide trend, and its effect on the team. Sources close and dynamics become apparent. To report tension in the Connecticut Sun, a few players in privacy in the changing area express apprehension about being connected to with the dispute, but others find it difficult to publicly endorse. Their colleagues' marketing specialists observe the possible long-term effects on Carrington's own endorsement of the brand. Public appearances and transactions could be effective, demonstrating how one live stream can affect a sportsman's career arc. As the narrative progresses to unfold, one thing becomes evident. Event is more than simply a Uber's disputed ride is now a flash topic of conversation regarding race, accountability, and the function of social. The live coverage of professional sports by the media stream that altered everything could simply alter women's basketball as well. Began as a typical evening in Connecticut has become a landmark state that might change the way WNBA players strategy for using social media. The ripple effects keep spreading, leaving everyone unsure of what will happen next. In this developing drama, the fallout from the WNBA was impacted by Carrington's Instagram Live. Like a tidal wave in a few hours' worth of footage, every social network was inundated by her stream media outlet. But this wasn't merely another occasion that went viral, was a crisis that would put the fundamentals of the league to the test. We should go back to the Caitlin Clark incident that occurred during a contentious game. Carrington touched Clark with his hand. But she asserted that it was unintentional. Admirers weren't persuaded that Carrington, I hit her without even realizing it, had stated that the statement would be made after. Back to haunt her as admirers began connecting the dots between these two disputes involving her relationship with Mrs. Smith of Indiana. Fever added additional causes of complexity revealed within the Fever organization, increasing hostility in the changing room. Basketball is no longer the only topic. A player who wished to remain anonymous shared. The drama in the WNBA follows us everywhere. The front desk discovered itself in a challenging situation. This wasn't just regarding the social media behavior of one athlete. It concerned the league's reputation during its largest growth phase to date. With Caitlin Clark is delivering a first. Observe the timing of women's basketball. Social media couldn't have been worse. Burst with responses from previous players. Fans and sports analysts all had their say. A Carrington dispute began. Prevailing viewpoints that range from requests that the demands for the discussion of mental health support wasn't no longer only about the incident. It had developed into a more extensive discussion regarding responsibility in professional athletics. Within the Connecticut Sun Company, PR teams went into crisis mode and rushed to preserve the harm, but Carrington's history of contentious remarks made their work almost impossible. Try to provide an explanation for the LED Uber incident, returning to the earlier dispute, causing a negative snowball effect. Sports experts for the press began to investigate. Further investigation revealed a pattern of comparable instances where Carrington's remarks in public had triggered an eye poke with Clark, was no longer seemed so unintentional at, in the realm of popular opinion at least, the Carrington's interaction with Smith became the center of attention. According to insiders, a number of players had voiced worries regarding the team. Chemistry in your private life produces so much drama that it has an impact. Another unidentified source, for everyone, outlined several players alleged, asked for private consultations with management to talk about the circumstances. Older WNBA players began to talk out, however. We battled too hard for respect, meticulously, to let the drama on social media to define us. The message was plain to one former All-Star. This was no longer solely about Carrington. It has to do with the league's standing. Sponsors began to feel anxious while nobody openly backed conversations regarding the brand behind the scenes. In a league, associations became more intense, where each dollar of sponsorship counts. This type of focus was the final, believed that the racial component was necessary. Of what Carrington said during the Uber incident generated a lot of heated discusses. Civil rights groups called for sports sensitivity training. Analysts questioned if the WNBA would had sufficient support networks in place for athletes coping with racial concerns. The massive fan base of Clark mobilized. The IPOC incident that occurred online had roared back, beginning to vanish from recollection into pertinent side-by-side footage, contrasting Carrington's responses in the two. The similarities between the instances became viral. In response, she denied then. It became impossible to ignore the deflection. Leadership in the Connecticut Sun faced a difficult choice. They had to deal with the matter without becoming hostile, their player, or causing stress. Further, their initial declaration, which calls for tolerance and comprehension as we collect information that satisfies no one's medical personnel, arrived at the discussion, implying that the mixed with the strain of professional sports social media monitoring may be causing some admirers to start watching. Using this perspective, Carrington's actions, urging kindness instead than denunciation of the WNBA Athletes Association, discovered themselves in an uncomfortable posture. They had to provide support for their member while recognizing the gravity of her behavior. Their thoughtfully crafted message regarding chances for growth and learning brought attention to the difficult balance they were attempting to preserve. Team dynamics most obviously suffered during the games. A different teammate's body exuded energy. Around Carrington, the language altered. TV cameras captured uncomfortable bench time events that foster greater social media training turned into media speculation. A popular subject among league veterans began teaching younger athletes about think twice about your social media responsibility. Once, the post became into an unofficial mantra in Uber locker rooms throughout the WNBA. Eventually, the driver's point of view surfaced. During his employer's inquiry, his account gave a very different impression compared to Carrington's live broadcast. The disparity merely fueled the flames, casting doubt on the veracity of